Hello again, everyone, and welcome to what is one of the most difficult and high-speed circuits on the calendar, the Baku City Street Circuit. Division 1 looks to put on a hot one tonight, with only 9 points separating our Drivers' Championship leaders, that of Ryan Rods and Scornsey. Now 20 corners make up this 6-kilometer circuit, which straddles the Caspian Sea. And with 2 DRS zones along the main straight, with 2 DRS zones along the main straight makes the circuit one of the best tracks for overtakes. Drivers will have to keep their patience and wits throughout today's race, as a safety car or two is not uncommon, not to mention the looming threat of rain towards the back end of the Grand Prix. Hotspot with you on the call. So, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like a very overcast day here in the Caspian Sea at the Baku City Street Circuit here in Azerbaijan, round number 4 of Division 1 Season 8. And as we begin our formation lap, once again, Midwest F1, brought to you by Raise Energy, Sim Racer Coin, Epos Audio. Formation lap about to begin here, and now it does. Let's go ahead and look at the tire strategy. Right now, it looks like, we do have a driver starting on the softs, Impossible Bacon. Perhaps he's hoping for the early safety car. That otherwise looks like a, I don't want to say a silly decision. He's a much more talented driver than I am, but that's not the strategy I would have taken. Soft tires only going to last between 6 and 8 laps on the circuit. Mediums between 11 and 14. The hards 15 to 20. Originally, it looked like we were going to have rain at the back end of this race. It doesn't look like that's going to happen now. So what that means is that tire strategy, I mean, it was going to happen both ways. You were either going to have drivers start on the hards to make way for the rain at the end of the session, make only the one stop, or you're going to have guys on the mediums, looks to get the pace advantage at the start. Only 3 drivers on the hards, that being Gott Palmer, Tiger NASCAR, and Smith Powell, so both the Alpines on the similar strategies there. Only the 1 driver on the softs of Impossible Bacon. Everybody else on the mediums. 26 laps here. Once again, expect that one stop around laps 11 to 14. GSR Ryan Rods dominated qualifying, and there's really no other way to say it. He did dominate qualifying. Say behind him looks to be perhaps the only challenger he'll have, and it's going to depend on the start. Because once Ryan Rods gets into clean air, it's pretty much over from there on out. GSR Edwin, Ryan Rods' teammate in the Mercedes, sits third. It's a third row lockout for the McLaren team, Scornsey and Edgar. Oddly enough, only 3 rounds in, they've got a lot of ground to make up to that Mercedes team at the top of the constructor standings. 2 very talented drivers, a former league champion in Scornsey, multiple time as well. As Ryan Rods, now this is interesting here, Ryan Rods has failed to get in the grid spot good enough. That may open the door for Say in the Ferrari, who has the inside line as well. This might just be, and I tell you what, I didn't expect that, but look how far back Ryan Rods has to start now. Say might have himself a breath of fresh air into the first corner if he can make it work. It's going to be very close. Say's going to give it his best. Won last week in Division 2. He's here in Division 1 trying to stake his claim. And he's going to do it against the points leader right now. GSR Ryan Rods. The lights are turning on here in Baku. Round number 4 of the Division 1 season. They are off. Who got the best start? I tell you what, it looks like Say's got a good one. Say's got a great one, actually. He has cleared Ryan Rods going into that first corner, and by cleared, I mean literally within car lengths there. Ryan Rods drops down to second. His teammate of Edwin stays in third. We got the McLaren of Scornsey. He's up to fourth, looking to make the move on Dace. Side by side is Edgar with Race Day there as they exit turn number 2, and it looks for now Say has taken the lead of the Grand Prix. That one, it has to be said, ever since Ryan Rods botched the start, lining up on the grid, you kind of expected that to happen. However, it's only 0.2 of a second, 0.3 of a second between Ryan Rods and Say. That overtake may happen. It's definitely going to happen once DRS gets into play. We'll have to see who's gutsy enough to try something. Impossible Bacon's within a couple of tenths of Edgar here. Edgar's dropped down to 7th off the start. Scornsey up to 4th. Dace down to 5th. Race Day up to 6th. Everybody seems to have pretty much held position minus 1 or 2 spots. No huge incident off the start yet. Say has to keep himself calm now. He's got 3 unbelievably quick drivers immediately behind him, and then Dace, who, by the way, seems to have fallen off just a little bit outside of almost a second and a half now as we almost conclude the first lap of the Grand Prix. It looks like Scornsey looking to make the move on Edwin as they go through 16. It doesn't look like it's going to happen now. Although, who's going to get the best exit? Ryan Rod's within 4 tenths, nearly 3 tenths of Say as they exit turn 20. It's going to be an absolute drag race between these two all race long, and that's what we like to see. Ryan Rod's now switching to the outside. Will he have room going into the first corner? It's side by side at the line. Ryan Rod's does has the fastest lap, and he does clear Say before getting into the first corner. Absolutely brilliant stuff from Ryan Rod's. He has nailed the rest of the first lap, and now finds himself out to the lead. Race day 2016 was within half a second of Dace here. Dace once again has fallen off about a second and a half, back to Scornsey in 4th. That I didn't expect. I'm not sure what struggles Dace is facing here. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. Scornsey, he's within 5 tenths of Edwin ahead. Scornsey has the podium in sight. In fact, he's got the win in sight. Only a couple cars ahead of him. Once DRS gets into play, I'm sure he'll definitely look to make something happen. And not to mention, with everybody else starting on the mediums, I don't really think strategy is going to be the big story. I think it really is going to be, it's going to come down to overtakes happening on track. Everybody started on the mediums. It's only really a 3 or 4 lap window for the medium tires. We're not going to see that much differential. I assume everybody within the top 5 is going to play copycat with each other. And when that happens, that means we're going to get all the racing done on track, which is great. DRS won't be in play until next lap. And for now, Ryan Rod's almost has Say out of that window. Say almost has Edwin out of that window. Scornsey really trying to chase down the Mercedes ahead of him for the 3rd spot. It looks like the remainder of the field has spread itself out. Cake Thomas only 4 tenths away from Shariah Coleslaw. Not close enough yet to make a move, I'd say, unless he absolutely tries to send it into the first corner, which you never know. GSR Hoxton looking for it on Shelley the Turtle here as they go into turn 1. Shelley's gone a bit wide on exit. Can Hoxton outbrake him into turn 2? It doesn't look like that's going to happen. Impossible Bacon, however, spins it into the runoff area, exiting turn 2, and that is not what the Red Bull driver needed, who, by the way, was off to a pretty solid start. And unfortunately, it's not come to fruition here. Looks like the 2 Alpines are going to invert positions here. No, that's actually not happened. GSR Edwin making his way around Say as they go through turns 5, 6, and 7. And now suddenly it's a 2-second gap between the 2 Mercedes at the top of the leaderboards. Scornsey's within a couple of tenths of Say here. Let's see if Scornsey will be able to get around the Ferrari. GSR Edwin, I'm sure, is going to be defending like a lion here for his teammates. Looks like as Ryan Rod's perhaps made a mistake, he's lost about 5 tenths of a second. I think just through turn 15 there. Yeah, it's down to within a second now. Somewhere Ryan Rod's has made a mistake. Has he got damage or something? That's a bit odd. It was 2 seconds. As they went through the castle sections, it's down to within a second. I think Edwin's going to have DRS here. Yes, he will. He does have it. He's not getting any closer to his teammate. Scornsey, I don't think, has anything for Say in front of him. No, that move for for 3rd will have to wait. Edgar wanted to make something happen back to race day ahead. It looks like Edgar might have something for him in the next DRS. It looks like Aero Racing Design has spun it out of turn 1 into the runoff area over there. Not what he needed. 3 tenths of a second, 3.5 tenths separate. Race day from Jason. We have another yellow flag, and that looks the Red Bull again of Impossible Bacon, his 2nd time in what I think was 2 laps going off past turn 2. Not what he needed. Say within 0.5 of a second of Edgar. Edwin, rather. Well, that was a big wiggle there going out of turn 7. Thankfully, I don't think he actually hit any of the walls, but gosh, that was close to disaster for the Ferrari driver. Meanwhile, while we were talking about Dace being far behind, he's now clawed back, almost within a second of the top 4 here. He might be on pace to try to make something happen with Scornsy. He'll need to at least stay within the DRS train. As you can see, it's very well a thing now. I'm just concerned that if Ryan Rods continues on this pace, he may get overtaken. Edwin is getting ever so closer to his teammate ahead. He's had DRS. Naturally, since it's come into play, Scornsy now has DRS to the back of Say. Not going to have anything into turn 1. GSR Hoxton, I think, getting around Shelly the Turtle there well before the first corner. Nicely done from the Williams driver. Side by side, Kate Thomas and Shariah Coleslaw exiting turn 1. Kate Thomas is going to duck back in the line here. God almighty, I'm dying. That's all there is to say. Yellow flag towards the back. It's Impossible Bacon yet again. And unfortunately, the day goes bad to worse for the Englishman driving for the Red Bull team. Very unfortunate to see there. Say, within 0.4 of Edwin ahead. About the third time I've confused him with Edgar, but you know, Edwin, Edgar, you understand. I tell you what, Say has done a very good job. I know he's been overtaken. He's dropped down from the lead and is now behind the 2 Mercedes drivers. The one of them that he at least started ahead of, and the one of them that he had the lead from. Oh, and that's Edgar behind. And he's done that through turn 15. I tell you what, that is about the most inconvenient place you could have an incident. And he's absolutely littered the track in debris. And it will be a full safety car. He's missing the entirety of the front wing. It's absolutely littered the circuit coming out of turn 15. That one was rather predictable. You can see the Williams ahead of Hoxton has also had somewhat of an off there. Who goes into the pits now? It's not Ryan Rods. It's not Edwin. It's not Say. Oh no, I have disconnected. That's not ideal. Right, so that was a bit of a hiccup to say the least. Hopefully I haven't missed much. It looks like we have just gotten back under green here after we had the safety car. That's good to see. At least I haven't missed all that much. It doesn't look like many people have pit, minus that of everybody except Got Palmer. So I must have missed kind of a lot, as it turns out. Got Palmer within 0.9 of a second of Ryan Rods here. Edwin's fallen down to 5th. Say back to 3rd. And mind you, as we're just under green flag racing here, I believe Got Palmer hasn't pit because he started on the hards. That part is true. Looks like Say in the Ferrari might have something for Got Palmer ahead. I don't think DRS is in play yet, and it will not be. So that will tell me I've only missed maybe a lap. Say down to the inside of Got Palmer. Naturally, you'd expect that. Palmer's on older tires as well. Does Scornsy go for it? No, Say was actually blocking that inside line as he was trying to overtake the Alfa Romeo. He's gotten in the way of Scornsy there. That was nice. That was nice racecraft there from the Ferrari. DRS in play now. Race day 2016 side by side with GSR Edwin heading down towards turn 3. It looks as if the Alfa Romeo is going to have it for now. That bumps him up to 5th. Got Palmer in 4th at the moment. Edwin's fallen down 3 spots. How it happened, we'll never know, I suppose. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Ryan Rod's out to the lead. I don't want to say he's been uncontested. But whilst the whilst the racing's been under green flag conditions, that's pretty much been the case so far. Not really had too many people close to him. Now seems everybody within the top 3, separated by a second of each other. Got Palmer trying to find something to get to Scornsy. Mind you, Palmer's on older tires. That one's not going to come easily. Edwin here. Does he have anything for race day? Is Impossible Bacon 3 seconds for multiple warnings? He's had himself a less than ideal day, to say the least. Edwin within 6/10 of race day ahead. Although it doesn't look like he's going to have anything this time by. Does Kate Thomas perhaps have anything for Scavney? This might be one worth looking out for here. How does Kate Thomas handle? Looking pretty good. Battery being used. Scavney is going to have DRS to Shelley ahead. So that will pretty much do in any attempt that Kate Thomas had at the overtake. And even then, he didn't even have DRS. Hoxton and Coleslaw side by side into turn 1. Hopefully no contact there. Contact there was. And Shariah Coleslaw has retired. Oh, and that one wasn't ideal at all. He was side by side there with Hoxton. A full safety car on track once again. They were side by side heading into the first corner. Hoxton, unfortunately, perhaps had understeer or something. And Shariah Coleslaw, unfortunately, will not finish the Grand Prix here. Yeah, you could see he just locked up the brakes heading into the corner. They were side by side. They both had a spot that neither of the other wanted to give away, and I'm afraid that sort of thing happens. Go ahead and assume that, I mean, we're going to have to assume that Hoxton's going to be getting a penalty for that. Not too many excuses you can have when you're side by side with a driver and one of them careens head first into the wall. Well, the safety car is going to have to pick up the drivers once again. Damn Shariah Coleslaw, that Haas was made of glass, is what Grumpy Old Catman said. Edgar's gone and left the session, which he has, he's not been in the thing for a while now. Palmer is pitting. Just over 15 laps to go. And Shariah Coleslaw, I mean, that's about as much of a call-out as you could say. Just Hawk said things. I think it's pretty clear who he thinks is at fault for that one. So naturally, with that DNF, we're probably going to have at least 2 laps of safety car. I'll step aside until then. So the safety car will be in this time around. It looks like we only had a couple of drivers pit that last time by. Definitely, I think both the Alpines, the Haas of Lancey, I think has as well. Palmer on mediums, Smith Pell mediums, Tiger NASCAR mediums. There'll be 14 laps of racing when we resume. Ryan Rods has the lead. Say finds himself in familiar territory, right behind the Mercedes once again, and Scornsy. Has to be said, on the outside looking in, he needs himself a good start. It looks like Ryan Rods was able to catch Say out by surprise. He'll have a 5-second gap heading into that first corner. Green flag back in the air. And it looks as if, well, that's someone way down to the inside back there. It's GSR Hoxton side by side with Kate Thomas going through turn 1. Oh, Kate Thomas, and it was a brilliant save. Oh, and the Ferrari, no! And Kate Thomas has gone around again. No, and I have to say, as Scott Palmer's retired, it's a traffic jam here exiting turn 1. And I don't necessarily think there was any one driver at fault for that. We saw Kate Thomas have the oversteer coming out of the corner. Slid around a couple times, perhaps bounced off of some cars. And it ended up turning into, I believe, a 4-car pile up there. Kate Thomas, Dusty, Tiger, and Gott Palmer. Gott Palmer, by the way, had played the Ultimate Team game today for Race Day 2016. And it looks like the Ferrari Dusty Lusky's actually gone straight on there. Lots of wing damage to be had. Kate Thomas missing a wing. Tiger NASCAR missing his. Dusty missing his. And, of course, Gott Palmer is retired. Not ideal. And we do have... That's Impossible Bacon. And that... right before the castle in another safety car. And I believe we had a car go off ahead as well. It's Dace. Something's happened here after the castle section. Impossible Bacon has lost it. Either that or has been contacted before the castle section. Another full safety car. Ay, ay, ay. So many twists and turns to this Grand Prix. And yet again, now this is interesting here. Not a lot of time left. Ryan Rods, does he come in? No. Say chooses not to as well. Scornsy comes in. Race Day does not. And nobody else. Scornsy is the only driver who's chosen to come in under the safety car. He thinks he doesn't have that much to lose. Although he was in third place, and nobody ahead of him has decided to pit. Scornsy now finds himself 11th, albeit he's on fresher tires. Naturally, everyone behind that being Dace, Mitch Burns, Cake, Tiger, and Dusty are going to be coming in for repairs then. Scornsy finds himself P11. Ryan Rods, Say, and Race Day now occupy the top 3. 8-lap Old Hards. Scornsy, as much as going on fresh mediums may have been a good choice. There's a lot of time left in this race. Anything can happen. However, it has to be said he's got a lot of traffic ahead of him. Currently 11th. Behind Lancey, behind Smith Pell. All of these drivers quick within their own rights. Once again, I'll step aside. Well, the safety car isn't in yet. However, 2 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago now, it was reported by Race Day in the Discord, rain on its way in 10 to 15 minutes time. Any more safety cars, we will have rain. I tell you what, it looked as if we weren't gonna end up having rain. It looked like it was gonna be pushed further back enough from the session that we weren't gonna end up getting it. And now it looks like it's a possibility. 11 laps to go at the stripe. The lap time's naturally about 1 minute and 40 seconds. You do the math there. Safety car finally chooses to come in. We may have rain at the end of this Grand Prix. It looked like it was out of the cards. It looked as if it wasn't going to happen. And now, for the benefit of the whole grid, really, they're going to have to keep it squeaky clean off this start. Because if that rain does happen, it's going to be because of another safety car. 11 laps of racing to go. We've had 2 safety cars within the last, I would say probably 8 laps. Probably 10. Call it 10, yeah, because I lagged out at the beginning of the first one. Green flag back underway here. Race Day gets a great start. He's going to try to find the side of Say here into turn 1. Doesn't have it. And it looks as if Dace and Scornsy side by side there. Oh, has something happened? No, it's a jostling for position. Remember, Scornsy took the mediums, took the risk of going into the pits off the safety car. Oh, and look at that, Scavney into the wall. That's put debris on the circuit. At least a portion of front wing there now occupies the exit of turn 2. Scornsy tries to send it down to the inside on Lancey. Remember, Scornsy, fresh medium tires. He could potentially get himself back up into the podium position here. He doesn't really have a lot of time for it to happen, although Scornsy super talented. It may be in the cards. Tiger NASCAR has not had himself a good go there. And Tiger NASCAR, he's got a puncture. A right rear puncture. And that, I think, is probably from the debris that Scavney had left behind. Not ideal for the Alpine driver. Say manages to hold on to within a second of GSR Ryan Rods. The yellow flag of Tiger NASCAR, who does have that puncture. Ooh, Say nearly clobbering the wall there. Race day's fallen outside of a second and a half nearly on Say ahead of him. He's got Edwin in pursuit. The big question, though, is Scornsy. How many spots can he make up? Oh, and that's a... Smith-Pell's lost it, and Smith-Pell's DNF'd! My God, we might have the safety car after all, and there it is! Good God almighty, now what happens here? Ryan Rod stays out, Say stays out. We saw it along with Scornsy. Smith-Pell had just clean lost it. Off the curbs of turn 17, turn 16, whatever it was. And now, we're in a position where rain might just happen. We see both AlphaTauris coming in. We'll have Tiger NASCAR come in once he makes his way around the circuit. Mind you, he has the right rear puncture. And now, and I've honestly lost count at this point. Up to it. Oh, what's this here? A Scavney. Oh, what's this? Mitch Burns almost hit the wall there on the safety car. But, I mean, this has to be absolutely mentally draining for both Ryan Rods and Say, knowing that yet again, you got to make a good start and hold on to your positions. Mind you, Scornsy up to 8th on his medium tires. The skies haven't really began to get cloudy just yet. I'm assuming we'll have at least another lap behind the safety car. As Tiger NASCAR comes in and gets that puncture taken care of, he's going to put on the softs. And a front wing change as well. Well, 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 how the turntables. Safety car, I doubt will be coming in. It doesn't look like it will. No, it won't. Unless it makes a really late call here. Which it very well may. We've seen it happen before. I think it's going to try to allow Tiger NASCAR to recatch the rest of the grid. You can start to see some clouds forming by the pit straight. It doesn't look enough for the threat of rain necessarily. It looks more or less just clouds that, I mean, what word would you use? It looks more scenic clouds than rain clouds, if that makes any sense. So we'll have at least this lap under the safety car. That'll put us restarting the race, lap 19. We'll have 8 laps of racing. Will the rain come? It said 10 to 15 minutes. And that at this point was about 5 minutes ago. Mind you as well, we use the approximate radar. So it could be 10 to 15, it could be 15 to 20, and I may be hyping up the rain for it to not even happen. Very possible. GSR Ryan Rods, as I'd say pretty much led every lap of this Grand Prix so far. Does he have the fastest lap? Yes, he does. I believe he has at this point led from start to finish. I know that Say took the lead from the first corner. I think Ryan Rods was able to get it back at the end of the first lap. I'm not actually sure. I'd have to watch it again. It's now Scavney trying to catch his way back up to the field. Tiger NASCAR doing the same. Tiger NASCAR almost a whole sector behind. So we'll have to assume the safety car will be in this lap. If not, that would be interesting, to say the least. It may not. There's still 2 drivers. Well, let's see. It usually makes that decision when it gets to the Sector 3 line right here. Will it be in? It doesn't look like it will be. Another lap behind the safety car, unless it chooses to make a late lunge into the pits. Yet another lap under the safety car. For GSR Ryan Rods, Say and Race Day, currently the top 3. I mean, it doesn't look like rain's going to happen, does it? It looks very hazy. Tough. So we'll get 7 laps of racing once the safety car comes in. If it even comes in this lap, which I think at this point it probably will. Tiger NASCAR coming up to the rear of the field here, making his way down the pit straight now. Which, by the way, it looks like he's really ate up his tires trying to get back to the tail end of the grid. Considering that the softs only last between 6 and 8 laps, Scavney and Tiger NASCAR may be at a disadvantage, considering that they've had to use up tire life to get back to the grid. Little odd, to say the least. I'm not rightly sure. However, Tiger NASCAR now at the tail end of the grid, so we'll have to assume safety car will be in this lap. We'll start to see some clouds forming. That going down the pit straight. Well past the circuit, it seems. So now Say... Now see, this is the thing here. Say has had a couple opportunities now to find a way to get around GSR Ryan Rods on these safety car restarts. He's had about 3 practice attempts now. Now, I think, is going to be the real thing. Say's going to have a great start here. Surely, he won't be caught out by surprise from Ryan Rods. He'll have known the tactics that Ryan will use. Safety car finally decides to come in. Ryan Rods, nearly... I'm not rightly sure what that was. Anyways, GSR Ryan Rods leading the Grand Prix. Will he be able to hold on to it? When does he step on the throttle? Say, very closely, riding behind that Mercedes. Gonna have to let the safety car merge into the pit lane before anyone steps on the gas. Ryan Rods hasn't made the choice yet. Say better get with the program here, and it looks as if, does it start now? Ryan Rods really holding up the grid. Does Ryan Rods hit the throttle? Who gets the better reaction? Say's ready to go. And it's pretty much even Stevens off the safety car restarts. Down into the first corner. Ryan Rods has 0.3 of a second, but it's really, as Scornsy makes his way up to 7th, managing as Hawks it down to the inside of Shelly the Turtle. Say now outside of a second. Oh my God, Shelly the Turtle's lost it out of turn 2. Careens into the side of Scornsy. As Scornsy lost a bit of his wing there. It was quite a heavy hit. Down to 8th as Aero Racing Design managed to get around the outside. And now, has that perhaps eliminated Scornsy's hopes of getting back to the podium? Had we been under green flag conditions, you could have said that it would have been done. But unfortunately, we've been under safety car the majority of the race now. Race day 2016 within 0.4 of Say ahead. You can start to see the clouds forming now. Not as many shadows as there were just a mere couple of laps ago. We'll have 5 laps of racing this next time by. Well, 6, actually, including 21. 6 to go this time by. 0.2 of a second between Scornsy and Aero Racing. Oh! Aero Racing Design heavy into turn 15. He's lost a bit of his wing there. Scornsy, I believe, drove right into the back of him. He had nowhere to go. And now Aero Racing Design losing a bit of his front wing. Scornsy's going to try down the inside. Surely he'll have this position off the car crippled for downforce now. But has Scornsy as well injured his car? That is going to be another question worth looking into. He's 2.5 seconds behind that of Shelly the Turtle. Lancey getting around Air Racing Design. Lancey now looking for it around Scornsy, heading into turn 1. Will he be able to have it around the outside? GSR Hoxton and Edwin battling it out there. It looks like Edwin has actually done somewhat of a spin. He's fallen down to 6th. Man, oh man. Race day 2016 within 4 tenths. Actually, within 3 tenths now of Say. Say hasn't been able to get away well enough to challenge Ryan Rods for the lead. And now, with time really winding down, I mean, he'll be happy to have a podium. But I'm sure he could taste victory here today. And I'm not sure it's going to come to fruition for Say. It doesn't look like... Oh, what's this here? Ryan Rods, he's gone off. He's missed the braking zone. What in the hell has happened? GSR Ryan Rods has driven straight into the barrier through turn 7, finds himself down in 6th. And Say, as we were just talking about, will have tasted victory, but not been able to have it. He may just have it, but he's got race day in behind, and these two now, within a 10th of a second, battling for the lead, with 5 laps to go this time by. What in the hell has happened to Ryan Rods to cause that error? There won't be any DRS yet. Both of these guys, even Stevens on tires, 15-lap old hards for both of them. It will really be a race to the finish between these two. And mind you, Scornsy, now this is big implications on the championship. Does Scornsy perhaps have a move on Ryan Rods for the 6th position? DRS will be enabled. Race day wants it around the outside. Doesn't look like he'll be able to have it. Ryan Rods able, he's actually side by side with his teammate now. That I don't think has helped him whatsoever. Scornsy, I think, has gotten caught up in that actually. He falls off a couple of tenths. 5 laps to go. Race day down to the inside, looking forward into turn number 3. Will he have it? It's side by side. It looks like the Ferrari of Say is going to hold the inside line. Will he be able to outbrake him into 4? No, he's had a big lock up there. Was that a rain? Was that a raindrop I've just seen? Raindrops are falling, oh my god! There is no way that this is happening. The rain is falling. Ryan Rods has crashed out of the lead. Race day's just taking it, but now rain is falling. DRS has been disabled. And now, who can hold on to their car the best? Who can hold out the longest before deciding to go to the intermediates? It will be at least a lap or 2 before the track gets enough standing water to where intermediates will have to be the option. I don't necessarily believe we'll be seeing that pit stop. Will there be drivers who stay out? Oh no, it's Say's gone right on into the barrier, oh my god, it's an absolute wreck fest! Into turn 15, virtual safety car, Aero Racing Design's gone off. Say drives straight into the turn 15 barrier, it's a full safety car! Good God almighty! So much unfolding here. Hoxton finds himself in 2nd now somehow. Shelly the Turtle up to 3rd. Edwin and Ryan Rods 4th and 5th. Do they decide to come in? The answer's going to have to be yes. No way you can survive without the intermediates here. Race day in. Hoxton in. Shelly the Turtle in. I doubt, highly doubt, anyone's going to be staying out. Are any positions gained and lost in the pits? We know that. The Mercedes with the double stack, that is going to be detrimental to them. As you can see now, Ryan Rods all the way down to 12th. Scornsy up to 5th. 4th, actually. As Lancey, I believe, has had a bit of a slow stop there. And now, we're going to get 3 laps of utter chaos in case that wasn't what the race had in store already. Race day 2016 has the lead. Say almost had himself a win, and I'm afraid the rain had gotten enough to where he had completely gone through the braking zone into the turn 15 barrier. In all fairness, he was lucky to not DNF because it was quite a hefty hit. And then we saw I believe Dace behind him. He needed a wing change after losing it there. Aero Racing Design lost it going through turn 7. Very much like what GSR Ryan Rods did. And now... I mean, we're going to be looking at it here. Scornsy, I think, is going to be taking the lead of the championship at this point. After what has transpired here today. Assuming the safety car will be in this lap, we'll have 24, 25, and 26. In the intermediate conditions, suddenly the rain started falling. And so many drivers were caught out by surprise. GSR Ryan Rods, well, he had made that accident happen before the rain started falling from what I saw. Say had the incident. Dace, Aero Racing Design. Does the safety car choose to come in? If Aero Racing Design can catch his way back up to the field, it may. Oh, big slide there. He's almost extended the safety car, hasn't he? I mean, it's going to have to come in this lap. It's really all there is to it. We'll need at least 2 laps of racing here. Aero Racing Design catches up. Race Day watches the safety car as it avoids the pit lane. We will have 2 laps of racing. And by God, if there's any Lewis Hamilton fans watching this, this will be eerily reminiscent of, of a certain race in Abu Dhabi in 2021 where you have no time left to race. Scornsy somehow finds himself in 4th. He's avoided all the drama. He's done everything he could to avoid any of the difficulty, any of the trouble. Finds himself 4th yet again. Kate Thomas up 12 spots, up to 5th. Lancey up 12 spots, up to 7th. Hoxton, we'd have to believe, is going to have a 5-second penalty for the collision with Shariah Coleslaw, and what did lead to Shariah's DNF. So we'd have to assume that we'll be seeing Edwin and Scornsy on the podium, unless can Kate Thomas get around him somehow. Laps 25 and 26 of racing will be had here. I've never seen this many safety cars in the Division 1 race before. I mean, the track is treacherous enough. But how often do you get people practicing Baku in the rain? I believe only one time in real life have we had a rainy Baku a weekend. I believe it was the first one as well in 2017. Could be wrong. I think at one point there was rain. I'm not entirely sure. I could be completely wrong on that. I only started watching F1 2 years ago. So, safety car in this lap. Race day 2016, for all intents and purposes, has been absolutely gifted this win by both Say and GSR Ryan Rods. Will he be able to hold on to it? Barring any steward reports, can Hoxton pull off the upset here and take the win away from the Alfa Romeo? Can GSR Edwin get himself the win here? He's got the 2 cars ahead of him, and it looks like race day now. Getting away, green flag racing here. 2 laps to go here in Azerbaijan. Into the first corner they go. Hoxton not close enough to make anything happen. It looks like Ryan Rod's getting around Lancey there, actually around the outside it seemed. A little bit of a slip from Scavney. It almost seems like they're at crawling pace. Oh, and Hoxton! Hoxton's gone off! He's gone into the runoff area, exiting turn 2. Oh my goodness me! He's thrown away the podium. Scornsy now, wheel to wheel with Edwin as they go through into turn 3. And race day 2016, all he had to do, was get away cleanly. Look at this, Edwin around the outside through turn 4. Will he be able to have it? He makes contact with the wall. Nothing there, I'm afraid. Not yet. Still side by side into 5 and 6. You don't ever see overtakes here. You're trying to see one now. Edwin's going to get him around the outside. What a move by GSR Edwin, holding off Scornsy. Playing the team game is GSR Edwin. Race day 2016 out to nearly a 3-second lead. All because of GSR Edwin fighting here with Scornsy. Cake Thomas, almost a second and a half behind. But now starting to close in. What a turn of events here. Ryan Rods down to the inside, looking for it on Shelly the Turtle. They make contact. Ryan Rods has gone around. He's lost the front wing. And Ryan Rods will slowly trickle down the order now. All the way down to 15th. The last remaining car on track. GSR Ryan Rods. And all the teamwork that was done by Edwin to secure some sort of chance that Ryan Rods had to keeping the Drivers' Championship. Look at this, Say's got a puncture. Those who were leading the race a mere 10 laps ago are nowhere near even in contention. Shelly the Turtle is DNF. That being coming out of turn 18. There's debris everywhere across the circuit. We've got 1 lap to go. Scornsy within 0.6 of Edwin ahead, but it doesn't look like enough. Race day 2016. Out to a 3.5 second lead. It looks like, is that an incident there? Say, is he on his way into the pits? It looks like we had something happen there. I'm not even rightly sure. Say has stayed out. Scornsy within 0.2. Looking forward on Edwin here. Edwin, defending like a lion, has done all he could. He's tried it round the outside in so many places that you wouldn't necessarily expect. Race day 2016. He might want to buy himself some lottery tickets because he's come away so lucky from this. As now he goes through turn 7. Another yellow flag. That's a multi-car incident. Ryan Rods losing the front wing there. In case it wasn't lost already, Mitch Burns has lost his front wing as well. Absolute carnage. Race day 2016. All he has to do, and I'm saying this legitimately, all he has to do is limp the car home. For the Alfa Romeo team to take home a win. Makes it through turn 15. I'd have to say that's going to be the difficult stretch of track to get through. Scornsy, assuming he may get a better exit here than Edwin, he may get the spot. It'll be very close at the line. Who gets better traction? Edwin, a little bit of a slip. Tiger NASCAR, something's happened with him, that being at turn 15. To the line goes race day 2016. He's been given this one on a silver platter. He's made the most of his chances. Dusty Lusky's DNF, but it will be the Alfa Romeo driver, race day 2016, taking the win in Baku. Does Scornsy have anything for Edwin at the line? No, he doesn't. Freshly promoted to Division 1, race day. In only the 4th race of the season, claims his first Division 1 win of the season in absolute dramatic fashion. My, oh my. What have we just witnessed? Say, unfortunately, has crashed out going up the castle section. Mind you, he'll receive points for P13. Well, I wish I had the words to describe what's just happened. Unfortunately, I don't. Race day 2016, picking up the win. Edwin 2nd, Scornsy 3rd, Cake Thomas 4th, driver of the day as well. Aero Racing Design 5th, Lancey 6th, Scavney 7th, Tiger NASCAR 8th, 9th Hawksid, 10th is Dace, 11th Ryan Rods, 12th Mitch Burns, and unfortunately everybody behind did not finish the Grand Prix. And next week we make the trip back to Portimao. for round number 5, the Portugal circuit. It'll surely be an interesting one if this is anything like that. Hotspot, it's been a pleasure being on the call for this one. We'll see you next week when we head to Portugal for round 5 of the Division 1 season.